All right, looks like we're ready to go. All right, so how to create content that your audience wants to consume. Realistically, I'm going to say this in the kindest way possible. Uh, you are infringing on other people's time when you create content, so you have to make it worth it to them. That's basically the premise that we're talking about here. So, one of the things that I've always kind of laughed about, chuckled about, right? And this is from way back in the days of my first business as a wedding photographer. It was the about page on a website. And people would be like, I don't know what to write about myself. And to be very fair, I struggled with this as well. So I am poking fun at myself 100% along with anything else going on here. But it was always like, I don't know what to write about myself. Or, people would get clever and they'd make like little lists of facts about themselves, like coffee connoisseur, gym rat, all those things. And the more I got involved in actual marketing in an on-brand way in particular, the more I realized your about page isn't about you. And that's just your about page on your website, right? So if someone goes to your website and clicks on the about page, that's probably the place they would most expect to hear a bunch about you. But even then, it's not what they want. What they want is how you are going to help them. So anything you write about you needs to be framed in the context of how it's going to help the viewer, the audience, the person consuming the content. So if you want to create content that your audience wants to consume, your content always needs to keep that in mind. What are they looking for? When you put something about yourself, you have to frame it in the context of how it matters to your audience. So I'm a big fan of including, little life details in your work, right? So right over my shoulder over here, you can see my little Lego thing. It's definitely out of focus over there, but it is the like $60 Lego thing that they released for Pride, like last June. I saw it and I bought it immediately. And I was like, that is going to look great on display behind me. What does that tell you? Well, it tells you that I try to be friendly to everybody, right? Will I be successful 100% of the time? Not so much, but it is a goal of mine. It tells you a value without me ever actually having to put a value on my about page. What else can you see? Right now, right here, right? You see pictures of my family. Okay, I'm a mom. I don't hide that, for the record. I've never hidden that. I am a working mother. I work no more than 20 hours a week right now, at least, in the context of me being able to provide for my family. I do that, a full-time income, with my 20 hours a week so I can spend time with them. Like, these are things that you know about me. So these are things that I value. Now, how do I frame it in the context of helping my audience, of creating content that they want to consume? Well, if they're the people who share values with me, right? I share a lot of content on how to make your content creation, your content production, your strategic outlay of all that content that you're constantly creating more efficient. Why do I do that? Well, my time is valuable. I know that. And your time is valuable. So I always put whatever I'm talking about myself in the context of how it can help you. If I have figured out content production ways that make it take less time so I can get back to, either helping my clients more or living my life more, or, I don't know, just curling up on the couch and reading a good book, then that same thing can be applied in your life. So you can use your time to do any of those things as well. That is how you create content that your audience wants to consume. Now, as for the actual mechanics of creating that content, last week I did a whole four-part series on the different ways to balance your content. It's based on that wedding poem, Old, New, Borrowed, and Blue. Whether you think a bride actually needs to wear something old, new, borrowed, or blue is up to you, but it's a really good way to have a memorable content balancing mechanism for your business. So, old content, repurpose old content in new ways. New content, have a good new content creation system. Borrowed content, share somebody else's, but give the context, not only why it matters to you, but again, why it matters to your audience. What is the point of them consuming it? Why should it matter to them, right? And then out of the blue is kind of the fun off the wall stuff. So if you want more information on the mechanics of balancing your content to make sure that it is really client focused and really consumable for them, go ahead and check out the rest of that series. But everything we do has to come back to that one idea that I've already expressed. What's in it for them? We humans are a very self-centered lot, and it is okay to acknowledge that. My favorite example of how self-centered we are is a group photo, right? So like the last time you had a group together, y'all took a selfie together, a group picture, right? Whoever had the picture on their phone, I guarantee you the picture they shared with everybody else is the one where they look the best. You know why? We're self-centered. So knowing that that is part of human nature, knowing that uncomfortable truth about who we are and who our audience is, create content that acknowledges where they are at right now. Hey, you're here, you want to get over here. Let's connect the dots on that and help you get from A to B or from A to, D even. That is the kind of content that your people will consume. Now, knowing your audience, of course, means that you know whether they're going to prefer short format content, longer format content, all of that kind of stuff. That's up to you to do the market research on your best client. And I have resources on how to do that. Just reach out to me if you want some of those resources. They are available for free on my podcast, on my content channels as well. But even with that client research, even if you know everything about your client, you always have to ask yourself the question before you hit publish, before you schedule a post, what's in it for them? When I ask them to consume this content, however long that's going to take, what is the value exchange? What are they going to get out of it? How is it going to apply to their life? Not just after reading through the whole thing, but in the first few lines. That is how you create content that your best client will want to consume again and again. And that is how you grow your audience in the same way. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. Again, go out and watch the rest of this series for the actual how-to on how you can balance on-brand content for your audience. And hit me up if you have any questions. I have an entire resource section for this on my website, and I'll link that below.